The LA Chargers head into this game against the Houston Texans with a huge advantage, but calling it a gift doesn't quite do it justice. They've had to work for it. Still, it's a major positive and we'll break it all down. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. So, the Chargers are facing Houston, and that's where this advantage becomes clear. The Texans' offense has struggled, really struggled. To be in the playoffs and draw a team like this, it's a huge break. Early in the season, Houston's offense looked like it could be one of the best in the league. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon, and, of course, CJ Stroud were coming off a stellar rookie campaign. It seemed like they were building something special. But if you haven't been following closely, the Texans' offense has completely fallen off. After 17 games, it's clear they're just not performing offensively. Injuries have played a role. Nico Collins missed time, and Stephon Diggs tore his ACL, which obviously hurt their passing game. But it runs deeper than injuries. The rushing attack has been a major weakness. They're currently ranked 30th in EPA. If you're unfamiliar with EPA, it stands for expected points, added per play. It essentially measures whether a play was successful based on the yardage gained and the game situation. Positive EPA means successful plays, while negative or zero EPA reflects poor execution. Houston's ground game has been filled with negative plays, 0 yards, 1-yard gains, and minimal progress. They just can't generate explosive plays in the run game. Compare that to a team like the Detroit Lions, who regularly break off 1 or 2 30-plus yard runs per game. The difference in efficiency is massive. You can't put a price tag on what a struggling run game does to a team. The Texans simply can't break those big runs. They rarely get rushing yards over 20. A lot of that blame falls on Houston's offensive line. According to Pro Football Focus, they rank 23rd in run blocking, which has been a major factor in their struggles. But it doesn't stop there. Houston has also been poor in situational football. They're ranked 28th in EPA on first and second downs this season, compared to being 12th just a year ago. CJ Stroud has struggled in early downs, which has consistently put the Texans in difficult third down situations. Digging deeper into Stroud's individual performance, it's clear he's regressed statistically. His completion percentage has dipped from his impressive rookie year, and his passer rating has dropped by 15 points, falling from 100 to 87. Even more concerning, his interceptions per game have tripled. To be clear, that number is averaged out, but the difference is substantial. He was previously averaging around 3 picks per game, and now it's even worse with 7.5 per game. His passing touchdowns have declined, his yards per attempt have dropped, and his yards per game have taken a hit as well. Meanwhile, his sacks per game have nearly doubled. This all presents a massive opportunity for the Chargers. What makes this situation so interesting is when you examine the playoff bracket closely. Looking at the AFC playoff picture, the Chargers find themselves in a highly strategic position heading into the wild card round. If either Denver or Pittsburgh manages to pull off a win in their respective matchups, the Chargers could avoid a clash with the Kansas City Chiefs in the next round, arguably one of the toughest opponents they could face in the conference. By avoiding Kansas City, the Chargers would instead be slated to face either the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens. While both teams present unique challenges, the matchups could be slightly more favorable from a strategic standpoint. Buffalo, despite their explosive offense led by Josh Allen, has shown inconsistency throughout the season, with turnover issues and injury concerns impacting their performance. Baltimore, on the other hand, has been a defensive force all year, but questions remain about how their offense will hold up in high-pressure postseason situations, especially if their run-heavy approach becomes predictable. Of course, winning this game is the first priority, obviously, but if Denver or Pittsburgh pulls off a win, it changes everything. And honestly, even if the Chargers did have to face Kansas City, that's not the worst scenario. They know Kansas City well. It's a familiar opponent, and the mindset would have to be, let's do this. And my strong gut feelings are telling me that this time, if the Chargers get the opportunity to face the Chiefs, they will pull off the win. The key here is the opportunity. Calling it a gift might be overstating it since they've worked hard to get here, but this is a favorable situation. The playoff picture is setting up in a way that could really open a path for the Chargers to make a deep run, one step at a time. And while the focus is clearly on the playoffs right now, it's hard not to notice how well things are shaping up for the future too. Pro Football Focus highlights this perfectly. Staying in the present is important, but looking ahead, the Chargers could land a tight end, wide receiver, and edge rusher all within the first 3 rounds of the draft. This is why the NFL captivates so many fans. With the right moves, a team can completely reshape its roster and keep building momentum. That's what makes the Chargers situation so exciting. This playoff run doesn't feel like a one-and-done situation. It feels like the start of something bigger, like they're building toward a sustainable run. This team isn't just peaking for the moment. They're laying the foundation for long-term success, but there's something important to keep an eye on moving forward. One of the team's key players, Ladd McConkey, has been crucial all season. Everyone knows how vital he is to this offense, but now there's talk of the rookie wall, and it's worth breaking down why that happens. The rookie wall isn't just about the season being long. It's about how early the grind starts. Rookies finish their college careers, and instead of resting, they dive straight into the draft process. They leave school and then spend months preparing for the combine, interviews, and workouts. There's barely a break before they're meeting with teams, traveling, and going through constant evaluations, all before even getting drafted. By the time they join their team, they've already been grinding for months without a true offseason to recover. Then, the physical and mental demands of their rookie season hit full force. It's relentless. For McConkey, it's even more challenging because he's been dealing with an injury. While it hasn't sidelined him completely, it's still affecting his ability to stay at 100%. Facing a team like the Texans, there's reason to feel confident, but it's important not to overlook them. Houston isn't going to roll over. They'll still bring a fight. The Texans have plenty of talent on both sides of the ball, making it crucial for the Chargers to focus on key playmakers if they want to advance. Nico Collins has developed into one of the league's most dangerous wide receivers. With Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell sidelined for the season, he's become C.J. Stroud's primary target. Stroud has struggled to find consistent secondary options with several key injuries, making Dalton Schultz a critical piece in this matchup. While his numbers have dipped this season, 53 catches, 532 yards, and just 2 touchdowns, his ability to work the middle of the field could be crucial, especially with Collins drawing extra attention. Laramie Tunsil continues to solidify himself as one of the top offensive tackles in the league, earning his 5th Pro Bowl selection in 6 seasons. He's been a bright spot on an otherwise struggling offensive line, giving up only 2 sacks all year despite the Texans allowing 54 sacks, third most in the NFL. Derek Stingley has taken a significant leap this season, earning his first career Pro Bowl nod. The standout cornerback has regularly matched up against top receivers and still managed to produce, finishing the season with 5 interceptions, tied for 5th in the league. His coverage against Ladd McConkey will be worth watching, as it could determine how much success the Chargers find through the air. Slowing down these key Texans will be vital for the Chargers. However, the focus should stay on what the Chargers can control. Defensively, can they continue the consistent play they've shown? And offensively, do they have enough playmakers to keep the pressure on? Quentin Johnston's potential return is promising, but can McConkey stay on the field? And can the run game contribute just enough? Ezekiel Elliott has been brought in, but from an outsider's view, that move feels questionable. There's name value there, sure, but does he really bring enough impact at this stage? Honestly, it's hard to see him being a difference maker, so expectations should be kept in check. This game feels like a balancing act. Strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons. But here's the thing. Winning just one playoff game can completely shift the narrative. It resets the bracket and opens up new possibilities. Suddenly, you're just asking, can we survive one more week? Can we keep this going? And that's what makes the postseason so thrilling. And when you start thinking about the AFC Championship game, it feels surreal. Like, how did we get here? But with the Chargers, it makes sense when you break it down. They have what matters most in this conference, a legitimate franchise quarterback. In the AFC, you need a top-tier quarterback to compete at this level. There are only a handful of them, and the Chargers have one. Meanwhile, over in the NFC, there are talented quarterbacks too. Guys like Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff playing at a really high level. But the depth of elite quarterbacks in the AFC just hits differently. It's a conference loaded with big-time talent under center, and the Chargers have their guy. The stage is set, and the Chargers have a real shot at making a statement in this postseason. With their defense playing at an elite level, a proven quarterback in Justin Herbert, and a favorable path in the AFC bracket, this could be the start of something special. But the question is, can they capitalize on these advantages and make a deep playoff run? Or will the Texans' playmakers disrupt their momentum? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Chargers have what it takes to reach the AFC Championship? Or could we see a surprise upset this weekend? Can't wait to hear your predictions.